What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosa. You can find me on Twitter at ArtisticGamer28, and that's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. You can find him on Twitter at Savage. Scott, what's happening today, buddy? Happy Monday. How was your weekend?
I failed my initial quest of trying to beat Link's Awakening in the weekend. I didn't do that, but I did see some credits on another phenomenal game, and we'll have more to say on that in this week's episode.
Absolutely, yeah. Pay attention to tomorrow as that one drops. But what did drop today is As Dusk Falls from Steve and Nate. They reviewed that, and I've heard good things. I've heard very good things. So you might want to check that out over on ITG Reviews, where you can actually join us live, as well as ITG, the official ITG over on Twitch. We're live over there every day at 11 a.m. Eastern. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the Game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, coming up on today's show, Rockstar gives us an update on the development of GTA 6. Dude, I don't know if I care anymore. I gotta be honest. At this point, it's so far out, it doesn't really matter. But we'll get into it. So
kind of feels like that time I was told we were going to Chuck E. Cheese. I still have never seen the inside.
That's right. I got Pizza Hut instead. Sony's PlayStation Stars digital collectibles are confirmed to not be NFTs, and Final Fantasy wants to appeal to a larger audience. That's an interesting conversation that I think I'll let you lead the charge on that one, Scott. You're more of a Final Fantasy guy than I am. Let's get into it, though, as Rockstar gives first update on GTA 6 development. It comes from Matthew over at T3.com. Now, I'm not even going to go there. Rockstar Games has confirmed that it will be moving, quote, more development resources, end quote, to GTA 6, with Red Dead Online just dead. Just how that one goes. Content set to end as its result. The move was revealed by Rockstar in a blog post. Dude, so many people. Let's get into it, and then I understand why, but it's still so infuriating. The studio provided the first update on the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series since its existence was officially confirmed in March earlier this year. It also noted that to, quote, exceed players' expectations, end quote, when it comes to GTA series, which is something that I think Rockstar does each and every time they produce another GTA game, right? Or any game.
It's almost hard for me to imagine them not wanting to do that, but yeah. Where do you really go from Grand Theft Auto 5 though?
Well, we'll get there too.
Can I enter every house? How do you make the world bigger? It
sounds like it's going to be huge, but the full quote reads as such, quote, over the past few years, we have been steadily moving more development resources towards the next entry in the Grand Theft Auto series, understanding more than ever to the need to exceed players' expectations and for the next entry to be the best it can possibly be. And as a result, we are in the process of making some changes to how we support Red Dead Online, end quote, which means they're not supporting it. Scott, GTA 5 originally...
Changes gives me hope.
Well, we'll get to that still. GTA 5 originally launched way back in September of 2013, with the game now having shifted. It said shifted. I was going to say shipped over 165 million copies globally.
Holy.
That is a massive number. Red Dead Online, the online component of Red Dead Redemption 2, was released back in May 2019 and has sold over 44 million units. Scott, I think that's kind of telling right there why they're doing the shift.
Yeah, it really it comes down to the bottom line of the business. What's successful is what will be resold how many times over now?
Well, that's just it. Even we bought the remastered version of GTA 5 online, and dude, yeah, it looks good, but it's not next gen quality. You know what I mean?
No, it's still, well, at the end of the day, it's still a 9-year-old game.
That's what it comes down to, right? It's now showing its age heavily of how old that title truly is. But it also comes off the back of the prominent Rockstar leaker Tez claiming that remasters of the Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto 4 were canceled due to Rockstar due to poor reception of GTA Trilogy. Scott, let me ask you this.
Oh, man, that is such a shame.
Okay, let me ask you, because this is where I was heading next. If the trilogy was actually done well, right? Because it was awful. But if it was done to the standard that we hold Rockstar to the level of pedigree that they produce their games, right? There's a reason why GTA 5 sells so much. Red Dead Redemption, even on the online component, as they're shifting over, people still want content for that game because that game is absolutely incredible. But they've now pulled the resources off of Red Dead completely. We haven't seen a major update in over a year, and now they've just completely killed it. It's so
I want the next Red Dead game to just go back to Red Dead Revolver. Just take the online out of it. Don't dangle the carrot in front of me. Just give me a good single player.
Yo, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a fantastic single player. If you haven't beat that, Scott, go back, because you got lots of time, man. Because it's the game itself's not going anywhere with nothing new coming to it. But if the trilogy itself was handled with proper care and attention to detail, and it came out flawless, do you think we would get that Red Dead Redemption 1 and GTA 4 remake?
I think GTA 4 is very likely would have been the case. That's just kind of logical in the Grand Theft Auto lineup. After the trilogy, what's next? Red Dead Redemption number 1, though, I would be super excited about. When did that game come out, though? That's almost another 6 or 7 years back from Red Dead Redemption 2's release. I actually can't really remember. I know it was on 360.
2010. May 18th of 2010. Kyle joins us over and says that's a cop-out to blame it on the trilogy. Fair enough, Kyle. Dude, I kind of agree, though. It does kind of
feel like that, yeah, because it wasn't even Rockstar as a company that worked on it. It was outsourced to another Grove Street something related to Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but of course it was a company just propped up for that purpose. But it really just stings that it drops so hard.
I'm blown away that even over the course of the last year we haven't seen anything in the world for Red Dead Online. Then they just left. The gamers like ourselves, myself, Kyle was there, Nate was there, Ben, Nate's brother was there, like Joel. Dude, there was we had a posse rolling out night after night, looking to get back into the game, wanting to play more and hunkering down and just looking for any piece of content we can play. And then it just fizzled off, and Rockstar's like, we don't care. Apparently GTA sells 165 million copies, where this is only 44 million. Only 44 million apparently isn't enough by Rockstar standards, right?
It's more than our entire national population.
It's just, it blows my mind that even a population for a game of 44 million isn't enough to warrant Rockstar to continue on. Dude, even put a small team on it to keep that community alive, to keep us going. And then when they do jump with GTA 6, finally, because the biggest thing for me, Scott, is it's not like GTA 6 is out next year. It's not.
No, it's still a long ways away. And if they're shifting 5% of their workforce into it, okay, well, that does make a difference. But would that 5% be better off used to support Red Dead Online?
But
Grand Theft Auto 4 remastered. There's so many different ideas I have for Rockstar, and they're not going to touch those for another decade.
No. So, like, when do we get another Red Dead game? GTA 6 is probably 2-3 years out, and then another Red Dead game is probably at this point 8-10 years out. Dude, that sucks. Like, think about that, right? That's a long time to wait for a game that we love and adore. I still see people posting screenshots and just that photo mode of Red Dead all the time on Twitter, and it's just like, yo, you have a community here, but you just can't be bothered to keep the community invested. That just hurts, man, because GTA just makes so much money. But
it's a constant issue. It is across different companies as well. You're saying this and I'm thinking about Titanfall. There's a huge population still behind Titanfall 1.
How's your Apex doing?
Not supported. Oh, yeah, the Apex universe grows every couple weeks.
It does. Dude, let's get into Sony confirms PlayStation Stars digital collectibles are not NFTs. Comes from Michael over at PSU. Dude, I instantly think of PlayStation Stars and go to PlayStation All Stars.
Yes,
when are we getting another one of those? I could really go for one. Sony has assured PlayStation owners that is a digital collectibles for the newly unveiled PlayStation Stars initiative are absolutely not non-fungible tokens, or known as NFTs. Speaking with the Washington Post, Gren Chen, Sony's vice president of advertising, loyalty, and licensed merchandise, said that the collectibles are not available to be sold or traded. It's definitely not NFTs. Definitely not. You can't trade them or sell them. It is not leveraging any blockchain technologies, and definitely not NFTs. PlayStation Stars is a new loyalty program that will be rolling out later this year for PS5 and PS4 owners. It's free to join, and doing so will give you the chance to earn various rewards, including aforementioned digital collectibles, by completing various campaigns. I'm kind of excited. I want to see what, like, is this gonna be worth it, or are they just gonna put out another program and let it die?
Yeah, and I'm wondering if
Curious,
this is
right?
kind of like Xbox avatars, where it's kind of a flash and then it's gone a couple of years later. But
Yeah.
we'll have to see what that is. I suppose they are not NFTs, though, by definition. I think it has to have something to do with the blockchain, and the fact that you can't trade them, that does disclude them, I believe.
It does, right? Some of these goals involve simply playing a game during the monthly check-in to more challenging tasks, such as grabbing the platinum trophy in a blockbuster title before anyone in your region. Dude, that one's going to be hard. Like, you have to be the first one to get that. You know, people are. I'm curious to see how that works, because some of us are in the media, obviously, and get access to the games first. How does that work, then, Scott?
What was the game? There was a game that we played recently. I was nearly the first person to unlock an achievement.
Right?
And it's bugging me now that I don't remember what it is, because I wanted that prestige, even just internally here. I just thought it'd be funny to brag about. But
it's cool to say that you're the first one to have that platinum or this whatever trophy, right? So I just kind of that was my kind of red flag of how does that work when the media gets it so early sometimes. Like, I think when we had Horizon Forbidden West, I think we had it like 3 weeks ahead of release. So I clearly had a lot of time. I'm still working on the platinum, mind you. Just saying. But it's still one of those things, right? I could have, if I wanted to, probably just sunk all my time into that, got that platinum, but then I'm the first one to do it. How's that fair to everybody else? I guess that's kind of where I was questioning things, but I'm definitely wondering how the system's going to roll out, and will it stick around? Will Sony pay enough attention and involve the community in it? Dude, it's a cool way to pull your community in, I think, a little bit closer.
I think it fits into PlayStation Home a lot. If you bring out a new PlayStation Home, but you have all of the digital trophies, that's cool. Real trophy case to show off because of these accomplishments, that would be something.
No, for sure. Dude, I'd love to walk in and, hey, Scott, come check this out. And I got a wall like this, right? And
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, dude, that'd be so cool. And then here, let's make it more than a trophy, right? Like, I want a figurine with holding a trophy or something along that line to resemble, hey, yo, I got this for this game. So in the next God of War, I want Kratos standing on my mantle. How about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Life size. He's standing leaning on my mantle, Scott. Anyways, dude, let's get into the next topic.
He's your house, Carl.
He's my guard dog.
Good evening, sir. The voice of Christopher Judge. You know, I like this. I like this idea.
We have plenty. Yo, PlayStation, hit us up. Yo, Scott, why don't you take the next one? It involves Final Fantasy, which you know a lot more than I do about.
I'm not a super expert here. I don't want to let on that I am here. This is coming from an article on VG247, Osin Kunk, and it is stating in a recent interview, Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida said that the reason the game doesn't have turn-based combat is to appeal to a younger generation. He's referring to Final Fantasy XVI specifically. Yeah. Speaking to Famitsu, Yoshida said that the team reassessed who Final Fantasy is for now. He says, quote, "I'm from a generation that grew up with command and turn-based RPGs," end quote. He said, quote, I think I understand how interesting and immersive it can be. On the other hand, for the past decade or so, I've seen quite a number of opinions saying, I don't understand the attraction of selecting commands in video games. Quote, the option is only increasing, particularly with younger audiences who do not typically play RPGs, end quote. Interestingly, Yoshida noted how he believes that with the increasing power of console technology, RPGs have moved away from turn-based and more towards action-based. I think I agree with that. Hey, a
Yep.
further quote here: for several generations now, all character expression can be done in real time. Actions such as press the trigger and your character will shoot a gun can now be easily expressed without going through a command system.
Which
Yeah,
it does make a lot of sense, doesn't it, Scott? Like things are moving. The younger generation now, dude, they flip through everything. So to have them stall out and kind of wait for that turn-based old school tactics, dude, it kind of feels like it's somewhat of a bit of a dying genre in a sense for game mechanics because it is so slow. And some people love and adore that genre. And you know, I'm a big XCOM fan. I love XCOM. I think that was fantastic. Even Gears Tactics was incredible, right? But
oh
it's
yeah, that was the one that was a surprisingly great hit.
yeah, yeah, it was, wasn't it? But it's everything now for Final Fantasy because it's one of the things that took me out of Final Fantasy was the battle system. Because you had to sit there and
Yeah.
okay, go through this menu, and then that menu drops this, and then this drops that, and then I can select what I want to do. And there was something else I just recently played too that was a JRPG and had the same mechanic. I was like, yo, this is not what I want to do. I just want to be able to jump in. And nowadays, like look at Elden Ring, man. There's no prompt of anything. And now it is get your
Yeah.
butt kicked and then figure it out. And RPGs are kind of starting to transition into different quicker mechanics. We even see stealth moving, and it's how not as slow anymore. We saw Splinter Cell come out of the shadows. We've seen Metal Gear no longer kind of hide behind walls and stuff either, in a sense,
Yeah.
right? It's still a stealth game. However, things are moving much quicker. Even Dishonored, Scott, we're big stealth guys. Look at the transition in that.
Yeah, well, you've gone from, hiding, picking your moments to just being the
Yeah.
predator going across an entire map. But it's interesting to see how these genres shift and change because I think of card-based games almost in
Oh
the
yeah.
same light as this turn-based, I suppose because they are turn-based. But there was kind of a resurgence of card-based games at about the time Slay the Spire came out. There's a few of the other ones that stick out, and
Sure.
it's something that people have really enjoyed, but there's not a huge mass appeal to it. Is you have the same kind of feeling that I do towards the earlier Final Fantasies. I never got into 6, 7, 9, 10,
Hmm.
12. I kind of miss them all in favor of action RPG.
No, absolutely. It was funny because 10 actually kind of hooked me, but I wanted to get through the combat so I can get back into the story. Right? Like it was that. I just wanted more of the meat of the gameplay and story versus the combat system. And once the combat kicked in, I was like, all right, I guess I'll get through this so I can then move on and transition over to the next piece of part of the game that I found a lot more interesting. And I think that's what's keeping people coming back. Look at The Witcher. Dude, can you imagine a turn-based
Oh yeah.
mechanic in The Witcher?
Oh, that would have. I don't want to say that would sink the experience, but that would not be the same experience.
No, that's fair. Right? It'd be completely different, and I think that's what it does with this type of fighting mechanic or this battle system is that slows down the game. Now, I think
Mm.
I haven't played it yet, so don't quote me on this, but I thought the remake had the ability to do either or maybe it's just transition over completely. I can't remember.
I've heard that as well. I think
Okay.
there is a legacy system built into it, but it's not default.
Right. Because again, right? Because they're starting to move things forward with the Final Fantasy franchise. They want to bring in more mass appeal to the gamers, to the
Mm.
hardcore gamers that aren't looking for that slower combat. They're in for the action. I'm playing the
Oh,
game right now.
that's why I liked 15 so
I-
much, I think.
yeah. Oh, right now, even like, dude, even Outriders, for example, is just go, go, go. Like everything now is pushing fast, is pushing hard. And even the game we got review coming for tomorrow, I'm telling you, like it's fast, right? That's the key to the game now. And it was interesting to see how even our stealth genre has evolved. And we talked about how stealth is kind of feels like stealth games are dying because everybody's moving into this action RPG kind of scenario where there's just a lot more going on, a lot more involvement, and not just, dude, I love hiding in the shadows. Like playing Splinter Cell back in the day, I would wait 5 minutes, watch all the
Oh,
NPCs
yeah.
walk, and then drop from the scissor kicked above me down on top of them. Things like that. Assassin's Creed has a little bit, but Assassin's Creed got away from it as well, and they're moving over now to a much quicker pace and a different mechanic behind all their games. Cool.
The Final Fantasy I want to see redone in a different system is 6. I love the story of 6. I've watched tons of videos about it. I know I would like 6, but it's that turn-based that just holds me back.
Can't get you
And
going.
they haven't remastered it like they have number 7, but I'm really hoping this is next up on the block.
That's fair. That's fair, dude. Let's get into a bit of a shocking announcement. I can't. This one looks cool. Did you see this yet? Have you seen it?
Which one's that?
The next topic, Warframe's team's next game is Soul Frame. Still sticking with Frame though, if you haven't noticed. This comes from Luke over at Kotaku. Digital Extremes, the studio behind Warframe, announced over the weekend their brand new game Soul Frame. And the latter is most definitely not the sequel to the former. Where Warframe is a fast-paced shooter set in a sci-fi universe, Soulframe is a fantasy MMO with an emphasis on melee combat. Not exactly a sequel then, or even a spiritual successor, but having overseen the same game for a decade, you can't blame director Steven Sinclair for leaving Warframe behind to go and make something new. Dude, I'm so excited. Did you check this out?
I haven't seen much about this at all, no.
Oh, man. Where Warframe is focusing on shooting, there is focused on a melee. Sinclair told the Washington Post in an interview discussing the new project. Quote, where Warframe is super fast and crazy high speed. Dude, it is so fast that it actually messes with my vision.
Oh, we've seen quite a lot of gameplay, actually. I think that was Covenant House that had some partners that were playing it a lot. And I remember watching going, what is happening? The flight mechanic into combat, map traversal. I still haven't played Warframe. I think it's... I don't know if I've missed the boat or if it's still something I should go back to.
I definitely have missed the boat on that one. I tried getting into Warframe numerous times, but every time I jump in, the speed of the combat pulls me out and I don't feel well when playing it. Actually, so it's kind of one of those things. I was like, ugh.
I'm having a memory return. I think I have a friend of mine, George, that played on Switch way back in the day and showed it to me. And we played a bit of that game. And holy, is that fast for one. But there's a lot of systems at work in that game too. A lot of balancing and
absolutely
RPG, building your character out.
Yep. So as you said in discussing where Warframe is super fast and crazy high speed, this one's going to be a lot more slow and heavy, but it still has a lot of similarities to the genre that we have experienced in. While it's easy to look at the trailer and think, okay, Digital Extremes have been playing too much Souls, Sinclair says the inspiration for the world itself comes from stuff like Princess Mononoke and the Mononoke, thank you. And the never-ending story with the game world that's a little angry about what's been done to it. So, dude, the game looks cool.
The idea of anything having spiritual influence by Princess Mononoke and the never-ending story
never heard of it.
Is amazing. Never heard of it. Yeah. I really want to yell Atreyu, but oh no, I love those two worlds though. Cinematically, they're amazing.
Are they? Soulframe is also going to have a large open world hub serving as its overworld, with Sinclair adding to that the team wants this game to have as much greater focus on exploration. I'm chasing that short session but high immersion thing where you sign in and you come out of your yort and are where you're last signed off, Scott. I don't know, a lot going on here. I wonder, when do you think we get it? Like, how long have they been working on it? There hasn't been that answered either. Like, how long has this been in development?
Yeah, no, because we haven't seen anything about it, I'm gonna say probably still 2 years away.
Man, but it looks so cool. Like, I'm really digging the trailer. I thought it was awesome, and
I like this giant wolf I'm seeing. That is very Princess Mononoke.
It's funny because I was watching the trailer last night, and my wife comes out and she goes, "What is this?" I said, "It's a new game." I didn't even realize it was Digital Extremes until the article came up. I was like, yo, that looks awesome. And I was so excited to see them transition off of Warframe to bring something new, because Warframe's been around for like a decade. So it's nice.
I wonder what the trilogy is going to be when they make Doorframe.
Oh man, that's it. That's gonna wrap up today's show, everybody. I'm so sorry Scott had to do that to us.
I had to get one of them.
Has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news and bad jokes. But you can always join us live over on twitch.tv/the official ITG, as well as YouTube at ITG Reviews. But if you can't join us live, hit us up later inside the game.ca podcast services, TV streaming networks around the globe. I'm Drew, that's Scott. We'll see you all tomorrow inside the game.